So, you're running a small or medium sized business, and you keep hearing about AI. It feels like it's everywhere, right? It can be a little overwhelming. But what if we could cut through the noise and turn all that uncertainty into a simple, clear action plan? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, here's our game plan. We're going to walk through 5 key areas. We'll start by spotting the big opportunities AI offers. Then we'll figure out your first practical steps. After that, we'll get into the right mindset for this stuff, check out some actual tools you can use, and wrap up with the super important topic of using it all safely and ethically. But before we dive in, let's just pause and ask the most important question of all. How can this AI stuff really change the way you do business? We're not talking about science fiction here. We're talking about real, practical benefits you can see. And the answer really boils down to 3 huge things. First, automating all those tedious, repetitive tasks that eat up your day. Second, using AI to sift through your data and spot patterns or predict trends you'd never see otherwise. And third, creating a genuinely personal experience for every single customer. So what does that actually look like in the real world? Let's get into our first section and see some concrete examples, from massive global players all the way down to companies right in Ukraine. And this is where it gets really interesting, because you might think AI is just for the big guys, right? Sure, UPS uses it to optimize their delivery routes, and Netflix recommends your next binge watch. But check out the Ukrainian examples. Novus is using AI for pricing. Kyivstar is using it for data analysis. This tech is here, it's accessible, and it's already giving local companies an edge. And for a company like Kyivstar, this isn't just a fun experiment. Their AI-driven personalized messages led to customers taking a specific action 10% more often. That's not just a cool metric, that's a direct, measurable impact on their business. Okay, that all sounds great, but where on earth do you even begin? The good news is, you don't have to completely reinvent your business tomorrow. It's really all about taking small, smart, deliberate steps. Honestly, you can get started with this simple 3-step game plan. First, just take a look at your daily workflow. What are the things you or your team do over and over again? Second, pick one and set a really clear goal, something you can actually measure, like, I want to cut down the time it takes to draft social media posts by 50%. And finally, just start there. Pick that one small thing and test it out. All right, once you've got a small project in mind, the next piece of the puzzle is your mindset. Because success with AI is just as much about how you think about it as it is about the tools you choose. Your perspective is absolutely key. This quote from Wharton professor Ethan Mollick just nails it. You're not being replaced. You are still the strategist, the one with the vision. You're just getting a new kind of partner, one you can delegate tasks to so you can focus on the big picture. It's also super important that we keep our expectations in check. We're used to software that's perfectly polished, right? Well, think of today's AI less like a brand new car off the assembly line and more like a scrappy, super fast go-kart. It's powerful, it's exciting, but it might break down or do something weird sometimes. The key thing is, it's improving at an incredible speed. A really helpful way to frame your journey is this crawl, walk, run approach. In the crawl phase, you're just dipping your toes in, running little experiments, and asking, hey, does this even work for me? Then you move to the walk phase, where you're testing more specific tools and asking, okay, is this actually giving me a good return? And eventually, you get to the run phase, where you're fully integrating AI and asking the big question, how does this fundamentally change how we do business? Okay, let's get to the fun part, the tools. What can you actually open up on your computer and start playing with today that will make a real difference? And believe me, the list of tools is already massive. Whether you need help creating content with tools like Gemini or Midjourney, analyzing data with something like Claude, or making your project management way smarter with Notion AI, there's probably a tool out there for you. And you know what the best part is? A lot of this incredible power is already being built into the tools you probably use every single day. Just look at Google Workspace. Gemini can now jump into your Gmail to summarize long email threads, help you write in Google Docs, analyze data in Sheets, and even take meeting notes for you in Google Meet. I mean, just imagine the difference. The old way, you start your day by slogging through a chain of 20 emails just to figure out what's going on with a project. The new way, you ask for a one-sentence summary and you're instantly up to speed. All that time you just got back, it's yours to spend on growing the business. And that brings us to what might be the single most important part of this whole conversation. Using these tools is one thing, but using them safely and ethically, that's everything. This is how you protect your business, protect your customers, and build trust. And look, building a safety net doesn't have to be some giant, complicated process. It really comes down to 3 common sense stages. First, just figure out what tools your team is already using. Second, create a simple, clear internal policy for how to use them. And third, make sure everyone on the team understands the rules and the risks. This right here, this is the golden rule. You never, ever feed sensitive client information or financial data into a public AI tool. So instead of typing a client's actual name, invoice number, and the specific amount, you use generic placeholders. The AI gets the context without you ever exposing confidential details. So get into this one simple habit. Before you hit enter on any prompt, just do a quick mental scan with this checklist. Are there any names, any contact info, any financial data? If the answer is yes, just replace it with a generic placeholder or delete it. It's a tiny step that makes a huge difference. Which leaves us with one final question to think about. When you look at your to-do list for tomorrow, what is the one routine, repetitive thing on that list that you could hand over to your new AI partner? What's the one task you can automate to free up your time for what really matters? Thinking, creating, and building your business.